center stage.
To dodge the bullets lah.
Dah.
Left and right.
Yang actually yang soalan-soalan tu camouflage saja.
Tak apalah. Biasalah. I mean, we know this lah.
Are you guys comfortable with the mics?
Datuk Seri boleh
You guys want to get
tapi nanti at the end of the day,
This is my first podcast, so I don't know
that.
my position. All that you guys have to.
We have to mention this on record.
Thank you.
Datuk Seri Windsor's first ever podcast
appearance.
Although podcasts have been around since 2005.
Yeah. Kita, you know lah.
So it is
football
a
circle is always
big honor. It's a big honor. Yes, betul. It's a big honor.
It's like
Tak tahulah. Lepas ni baru kita tahu honor ke.
No, it is an honor for us.
no, it's an honor for us lah.
Okay.
I don't know lah.
Tak tahulah. Lepas ni lah.
No, I cannot speak on behalf lah. You know.
It's a really huge honor.
Thank you.
I've been watching you.
No, when Harish and Rizal come calling, you can never say no lah.
Alamak.
Tak boleh lah. Tak boleh lah.
Ini bodek lain level, bro. Ini bodek
I
lain
can
level.
say again also. You know, no problem.
Ini bodek lain level lah.
Tak ada lah.
Now you know
I mean,
why
you know,
is the
you
best.
can have an intellectual discussion. That's what I was trying to say. You know, you get good questions.
With me or
Thought-provoking
both of us?
questions. Both lah. No, this one direct, this one very subtle. Two different
Character.
This one.
Perspective that I'm always a fan. I always love the administration part.
Is that? Yeah. Ini direct sikit. Ini slow. Dia punya cucuk slow sikit.
Bawa soalan
No, I wanted to give you some facts lah, in case you want
ada
to.
facts.
In case lah.
Give you some facts.
Not Harish
Not him.
Not Harish. You bagi facts.
In case lah.
Alamak.
Tersilap. I takut you tersilap saja nanti.
Alamak.
In case you tersilap.
Ya.
You know what? We are rolling right.
Pembangunan bola sepak adalah tugas Persatuan Bola Sepak, bukan kerajaan.
Drum roll please.
So I believe my calling in life is football. Pengurusan wang and the asset is not being put together in the right place. We have a simple rule. The best rule, the best players must play with the best players, coached by the best coaches. Very simple. Ambil model JDT and lower it down.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Hari ini saya dan Harish cukup teruja kerana kami mendapat penghormatan yang besar. Kerana tetamu kita hari ini adalah bekas pemain yang menjadi pentadbir yang bertaraf dunia dan kini menjadi Setiausaha Agung Konfederasi Bola Sepak Asia. Jadi Harish, kita perkenalkan
Datuk Seri Windsor
John.
Terima kasih.
Tapi saya memang cukup teruja seperti mana Rizal nyatakan tadi.
Ya.
Kerana dia ni terbalik untuk saya tahu. Mungkin untuk Rizal telah banyak cover Datuk Seri ya.
Okey.
Tapi kepada saya Datuk Seri telah melihat saya grow up dalam industri journalism.
Daripada kecil ke apa?
Bukanlah, daripada saya first start lah 25
muda.
tahun yang lalu. So
betul.
it's really
Banyak kemajuan tak
exciting.
Datuk Seri?
Banyak.
Ke setakat rambut je panjang?
Digeruni sekarang.
Macam mana?
Digeruni.
Digeruni.
Digeruni sekarang. Ya.
Nak saya belanja apa lepas ni?
Datuk Seri. Okey, Datuk Seri cuba cerita sikit. Okey, semua orang tahulah Datuk Seri sebagai SecGen AFC. Cerita sikit perkembangan di peringkat AFC sekarang ni, Datuk Seri.
AFC sekarang ni di bawah kepimpinan Sheikh Salman, mula daripada 2013 sehingga sekarang ni telah membawa banyak perubahan yang penting sekali dari segi governance. Okay, kita sekarang ni sangat pentingkan governance. Governance maknanya statutes, struktur persatuan, cara bagaimana persatuan dikendalikan, integriti dan sebagainya. Jadi kita lihat dari 13 baru dia ambil alih, daripada 15 contohnya, kita very stable, tidak ada skandal, tidak ada apa-apa keputusan yang tidak ingini yang dibuat oleh Exco ataupun Kongres dan sebagainya. Jadi after a turbulent many years before 2013, kita rasa kita mempunyai satu condition yang baik untuk membangun bola sepak di Asia. As you know, a very unstable situation does not allow for good development of football. So kita sekarang ni berada dalam satu keadaan stabil.
Jadi seronok Haris dia punya muka bercahaya. Pasal masa turbulent period tu dia yang cover.
Saya tahu. Betul.
Jadi mungkin Haris nak tanya?
Tak, berkenaan dengan
turbulent period
tu yang mungkin ramai tak tahu, tetapi adalah satu khabar yang telah saya dia menjadi front page untuk beberapa hari di surat khabar lama yang kami berdua bertugas masa tu, di mana ianya dipanggil the Temper and Height Scandal.
Betul.
Di mana saya telah membongkar bahawa ada pegawai tertinggi di AFC yang menyatakan, yang menyuruh setengah pihak untuk sama ada you temper, perbetulkan ataupun hide, bukan perbetulkan bukan temper, dia amend ke ataupun
buat pindaan.
Betul ke tak, itu yang lain cerita. Dan hide the information, tapi itu cerita lama. Kita nak
jadi itu membawa kepada perubahan pucuk pimpinan AFC peringkat tertinggi tu. Jadi
betul.
sekarang ni betul.
Sebab apa yang Haris cakap tu betul. Sebab dengan bongkarnya kes pada masa itu, kita terpaksa bawa Pricewaterhouse untuk membuat satu penilaian audit sepenuhnya. Hasil bongkaran Haris lah. Jadi kita dapat lebih kurang 17 item yang telah diberikan oleh Pricewaterhouse untuk diperbetulkan di dalam AFC.
Misalnya
contohnya, the power was always in one hand. Salah.
Iaitu presiden.
No, General Secretary. Atau presiden. General Secretary atau presiden. Jadi dia kata tak boleh. Mesti ada certain power tu untuk certain level. Contohnya director mesti mempunyai power untuk sekian ni. Lepas tu GS sekian ni, presiden tu sekian ni. Itu pertama. Yang kedua, power to sign tak boleh berada di tangan presiden. Dulu ada. Sekarang ni ditarik dan diberikan kepada professionals. Sebab professional lah yang membuat tugas dan mereka harus bertanggungjawab kepada semua kontrak, semua agreement dan sebagainya. Jadi dibawa turun kepada CEO contoh. He's responsible ultimately with his directors. Itu contohnya. Policy tidak ada di AFC pada masa itu. Sekarang ni semua mesti ada policy. So dulu ada discretionary power. Sekarang ni tidak ada discretionary power. Semua mesti ada backup, sama ada regulation ataupun statute ataupun policy ataupun SOP standard. So mesti. So tidak ada langsung discretionary power kepada sesiapa di AFC including the president. So ini banyak perubahan hasil daripada situasi yang
skandal itu membawa kepada banyak perubahan.
Nak kata skandal tak? Kelemahan
dari segi tak urus.
Dari segi tak urus. Tata kelola tak urus.
So should I say you're welcome AFC?
Thank you. Thank you.
Tahniah Haris. Tahniah. Betul.
We have to realize that it opened the eyes lah. Kita kata it opened the eyes that banyak kelemahan dari segi tabik urus, governance, tata kelola dan sebagainya.
So bila bercakap mengenai struktur AFC sekarang, Datuk Seri, bermakna kalau you ada jawatankuasa kan, macam jawatankuasa keuangan, jawatankuasa pertandingan, apakah peranan mereka sebenarnya? Mereka memberi syur kemudian dilaksanakan oleh professionals ataupun professionals bagi input kepada jawatankuasa untuk membuat keputusan yang betul?
So jawatankuasa ni dia ada dua tugas. Yang pertama sekali, mereka meneliti cadangan yang dibawa oleh administration. Itu yang pertama. Sebab administration tu profesional. So bawa daripada administration. Pada masa yang sama, sebelum mesyuarat, kita hantar surat kepada mereka, ahli-ahli mana-mana jawatankuasa, jika ada apa-apa syur yang ingin dibincangkan di dalam jawatankuasa. So two ways. So tapi bila hantar syur, mesti dengan fakta, dengan background, dengan paper lah. Harus dibentangkan. So kalau perubahan dari segi if you take into consideration semua perubahan tu, kebanyakannya datang daripada administration. Because it's our job. Tugas kita untuk melihat kepada apa yang perlu diperbaiki, apa yang perlu diperkenalkan, apa saja yang harus dipembarui. So perlu diutarakan ataupun bermula daripada administration kepada komiti. Dan komiti lihat, kadang-kadang komiti akan kata no, kita tangguh dulu. It's too drastic. Mungkin kita do step by step. Kadang-kadang kita okay, good idea, kita boleh, sebab kita punya model tu association. So dalam model association tu, standing committees play a very important role. Sebab dalam statute dia mengatakan standing committee advises the executive committee. So executive committee adalah bertanggungjawab kepada segala keputusan dalam satu persatuan, dalam model persatuan. Jadi siapa yang akan bantu exco adalah jawatankuasa. Siapa yang akan bantu jawatankuasa? Administration lah. So that's how it works.
Okey, Datuk Seri, macam Liga Juara-Juara Asia, AFC Cup dijenamakan semula jadi ACL Elite ACL 2. Jadi keputusan siapa sebenarnya itu, Datuk Seri?
Itu bermula daripada administration. So kita melihat banyak dana yang daripada Asia, sponsor-sponsor Asia ni keluar kepada Europe. Jadi kita lihat, kita buat satu penilaian. So ada satu feedback yang kita dapat mengatakan Champions League kita terlalu besar, tak ada quality. Bila kata 40 teams tu, the top and the second, the bottom 5 tu jauh dia punya. So sponsor tak berapa minat lah. Sebab you may get about 10-15 good matches, lepas tu match semua it's just filling up the fixtures. So kita terpaksa bawa quality. Jadi kita buat macam super league lah. Jadi kita namakan Champions League Elite, di mana hanya 20 pasukan terbaik. So hasil daripada perubahan itu, kita dapat sekarang ni banyak klub, they are willing to invest in their players, good coaches, because now you only have 24 top teams to play. 12 di East, 12 di West. So the fight is going to be very hard. Jadi investment pun is back to Asia. So sponsors are now excited. So you got now new sponsors in our Champions League. Sebab mereka rasa this has got quality, this will get many people to watch our competition. So itu yang pertama sekali. Yang kedua, kita juga terpaksa melihat kepada geographical issues lah. Ya, kita ni 12-13 time zones, 25 flight time daripada Beirut ke Brisbane. So kita pun we have to do the Asian way. Kita tak boleh buat cara Europe yang you boleh naik bas pergi tengok game dan sebagainya.
Betul.
So ambil kira semua feedback ini, opinion. Jadi kita pun rasa banyak kita ambil daripada sponsor dan juga broadcaster. Broadcaster pun banyak bagi pandangan, input. Kata no, you have to change the format. You have to bring down the number of team. You have top teams to play among each other. That will help develop Asian football. Sebab you get top players playing with top players. So we have a simple rule. The best rule, the best players must play with the best players, coached by the best coaches. Best players, it goes down all the way. Best players must play with the best players, must be coached by the best coaches. Okay, and they must play in the best facilities. Okay, so this is like a rule, that is important for professional football. So so if you talk about thought process, commercial was also involved, technical was also involved. We want to have the best players play among themselves. Commercial value goes up. When you, let's say, a Japanese team plays with a Saudi team, of course the commercial value goes up. Because they are in the top rank. I'm talking about ranking, that's why, not because of the country image or whatever, just ranking. Okay, commercial is involved. Okay, number one. Technical is involved. Number three, competition is involved in the terms of, we have now asked everyone to upgrade their facilities. Now, for example, you cannot play in artificial pitch anymore. For example, that's a big change. So, Elite, no artificial pitch. Champions League 2, no artificial pitch. So, you need to develop your facilities. Production-wise, Lux must be the highest, 2,000 over. Okay, 1,008 is also, because we have VAR as well now. So TV production requirements become, so all this pushes up the quality of the overall game. Not only the performance on the field, but outside the field, the quality also goes up. So this helps in the development of top players in Asia, so that they can then be developed for the national team, who then can have an impact in the world level. So this is part of the thought process, that we need to take 6 and 6 teams. So 24 clubs basically come from 6 teams, 6 MAs. on the East and 6 MAs. So there's already 12 top MAs that play in this elite. At least these 12 MAs will have good players that can contribute to their national team, form part of the national team that can help Asian football. So that is also part of so technical was involved and also commercial was also played. So we see a lot of interest now from big sponsors to bring back some money to invest in elite, the Champions League elite. So which is good for Asian football. But if you talk about Super League, you must be careful. There are two types of Super League. One is a closed league. That means they do not play in the local league. Okay, but that Super League also you need to pass club licensing. So kalau salary tak bayar, you cannot pass club licensing. So it's also goes back to the same. The club has to be professional anyway. Even though you play 6 months like Shopee ASEAN Cup club competition, they still have to have club licensing to play. They still have to fulfill, you see. So if you fail club licensing, you still cannot play in a closed league like a Super League. So you cannot have the shortcut lah, tak boleh. You still have to have the fundamentals to play in any competition. That was one of the thought and came from kita punya administration stakeholders, administration dan sebagainya. So kita bawa beberapa model kepada Jawatankuasa Pertandingan and then they fine tune it, pergi ke ESCO and then kita announce.
Agak menarik ya, kerana AFC ni bukannya seperti like the challenges is different kalau kita bandingkan dengan UEFA dan sebagainya, because number one, benua kita terlalu besar. Ya, seperti Datuk Seri kata tadi, multiple time zones. In fact, that's a problem.
Berapa 13 time zone?
13 time 15. Difference. That means you take from Beirut all the way to Sydney.
Macam Datuk Seri ni kerja 24 hours lah.
24 hours lah. Betul-betul 24 hours. Kita punya staff ada yang have to support.
Atau ikut time zone juga?
Tak, ada yang ikut time zone. Kita ada satu department, member association department. Dia ada unit East, West. Bukan East, West. The 5 zones kan. South, ASEAN, West dan sebagainya. So some of them follow the time zone, the working hours of the West, East dan sebagainya. So East and ASEAN not bad, very close. 1 hour time difference dan sebagainya. Tapi Australia sekarang ni dah 2 hours in front. And then during winter and so on, dah summer winter 3 hours dan sebagainya. So as you said lah, Arish, challenges dia people don't realise.
Dan jurang pertandingan pun agak besar.
Luas.
Daripada you've got war-torn countries, you've got really developed countries.
Yes. Kita ada di Asia ni negara yang paling banyak tidak boleh bermain di negara sendiri di dunia. Sebab either war or sanction or
berapa banyak negara tu Datuk Seri? Palestin,
Palestine. Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. North Korea 5. Timor Leste tak ada padang 6. Lebanon sekarang ni ban because of the war. So 7 country ni AFC terpaksa cari neutral venue, bantu dia mencari neutral venue. So tiap kali ada pertandingan, we are very active trying to negotiate with our members trying to host, because bukan semua negara yang dia boleh host. Contoh North Korea, you have to really find good partners to help us to host.
Dan kalau boleh ada diplomatic tie ke tak?
Ada. So sekarang ni Laos is helping us lah, sebab Laos ada embassy dan sebagainya. So these are some of the challenges. And then kita juga banyak negara yang kena sanction oleh US. Tak boleh transfer US dollars, macam Iran, Syria. Syria baru ni Trump kata boleh, contoh dan sebagainya. Yemen, contoh. Afghanistan, North Korea. So all these challenges memanglah orang tak nampak, but you must appreciate kita organize at least about 800 to 900 matches every year. And we complete these matches. 800 to 900, at least 900 lah in a worst year, 900 matches.
Competition pening.
Yes, big
Director competition
challenges.
masih lagi Shin Manggil.
Yes.
And where does Malaysia stand in this whole equation?
Malaysia,
I'm not asking you as a Malaysian, I'm asking you as an AFC just.
Dari segi kestabilan persatuan, FAM is on the top because you don't have them suspended, They always have their congress. So that part, okay, they are on the top. You talk about national team, they are always in the middle somewhere because they have not really, gone that far except like in the last Asian Cup, they've qualified.
Yeah.
But you still are not there in the top 5 ranking and so on. So they are there. They're not very low. They're there. Club football, yes, they made a big impact. People now are afraid to play with JDT as well. It's a fact. And they can only improve better. They have made a name for themselves. They have come very close. They have come to the round of 16. Very close to qualify for the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So they were very far behind, but now in club football they have come up. Dari segi kita kata facilities, kita kata Malaysia is one of the top lah in terms of facility because you have more than one stadium that can host AFC matches. So you are in the top. So in different areas you are on the top. Some are in the middle. Some you are still not there yet.
Are we learning? Kerana saya masih ingat lagi perbualan saya dengan Rizal Hashim lebih kurang 15 tahun yang lalu, di mana Rizal menyatakan bahawa kita mempunyai BWF di Kuala Lumpur, kita mempunyai AFC di Kuala Lumpur, pelbagai expertise di negara kita. This is about 15-16 years ago, Rizal. Dan he asked the question, dia tanya, are we actually tapping and learning from these experts? So persoalan saya kepada Datuk Seri ialah, are we, Malaysia and even the countries around us, our neighbours, are we tapping on your expertise? Are we reaching out? Are we, learning?
I mean, depends lah which areas kan. So kalau macam FAM, we have a very close working relationship because they are host association. AFC is based in Malaysia, so Malaysia becomes the host association. So dari segi bantuan kita untuk mendapat apa saja kita kata facility daripada kerajaan dan sebagainya, memang FAM bantu kita lah. Tapi FAM is a very independent body. Jadi mereka mempunyai visi yang tersendiri, mereka mempunyai cara tersendiri untuk mengendalikan bola sepak di Malaysia. Jadi kita berada di sini, jika dipanggil kita akan bantu. Jika tidak dipanggil, sebab mereka mempunyai cara mereka tersendiri, so we are there if they require our help. Contohnya baru ni FAM dan KBS minta bantuan kita buat analisis AMD dengan NFDP. So kita buat kita
menarik.
buat analisis.
So apa analisis?
Kita buat analisis dan kita serahkan laporan kepada FAM dan juga menteri.
Apa intipati laporan tersebut?
Intipatinya, if I want to summarize lah at the end, itu pembangunan bola sepak adalah tugas Persatuan Bola Sepak, bukan kerajaan.
Drum roll please.
Itu yang number one finding
Drum
lah.
roll.
And this is not a secret. This is all over the world. Okay, pembangunan bola sepak adalah tanggungjawab mana-mana persatuan bola sepak, because they have the responsibility to develop football in their own country. Mana-mana. Tugas kerajaan dan juga stakeholder yang lain adalah untuk membantu. Okay, macam kerajaan tu melalui fasiliti, melalui dana ataupun apa saja yang boleh membantu persatuan, tapi untuk mengendalikan program, untuk melantik jurulatih, itu adalah tanggungjawab Persatuan Bola Sepak, bukan
Badan Induk.
Badan Induk, bukan kerajaan ataupun mana-mana pihak swasta dan sebagainya. Jadi kalau kita lihat, Arish, if you put a list of items to tick, Malaysia will tick all the boxes. Contoh, support from government, tick.
Ada.
Sponsors,
Ada.
tick. Fans, tick.
Ada.
Facilities, tick. Popularity of the game, number 1, tick. So you tick nearly all the boxes. Many countries do. You take Philippines for example, football is not the number 1. Tak ada.
Basketball dengan volleyball.
Basketball, exactly. Japan, football is not number 1. Baseball is number 1. So you see, kita dah tick semua box tu. Then we ask the question, if we are ticking all the boxes, what's wrong? So you tell me, Arif, you tell me, Rizal, you're covering football. What's wrong? We have ticked all the boxes.
We've taken it for granted.
Jadi sure daripada AFC?
Show daripada AFC adalah, first of all, mesti ada satu vision yang clear. So kita tak nampak vision tu. Kita tak nampak. Vision JDT very clear. Dia nak jadi juara Champions League. Very clear.
Betul.
And they are spending money and they are doing what they can to do, and the rest cannot have the same vision lah, because they are not
Tak
their
mampu.
vision, tak mampu. Okay. What is the vision? First of all, we ask the question, what is the vision, okay, of any association? Lepas tu, what is the plan to achieve the vision? This is not rocket science. We all know this. Who are the people now to deliver the plan? Itu saja. Now, we want to ask any association lah, tak kira FAM ke mana-mana, kita kena nampak plan itu dan kita nampak orang yang akan mengendalikan plan itu. Dan adakah semua stakeholders buying into the same plan? Okay? And when we did our vision, okay, our vision is to make football the number one sport. Contoh. Okay? Number 2, to provide the best competitions for all our football players in Asia. So that we are proving it by this, you said. Okay? So, if you go and ask in AFC anybody what is the vision, they'll be able to tell you. Any staff, even yang buat the drinks in the cafeteria. Okay? Ini macam cerita NASA lah. You know the story of NASA?
Yes.
You know, isn't it? Even if you go to the cafeteria
Dia tahu, yes.
cleaner, what is your vision? Dia kata,
Yes.
my vision is not to clean the toilet. My vision is to put the man in the moon.
Yeah.
So that vision tu, semua stakeholders mesti tahu dan mesti buy in into that. That is the fundamental of building, okay, the structure where you want to reach. Number 2, ecosystem. Have we identified all the people involved in the development of football? Have we brought them together and shared, this is what we want to do? You know, what do you need? What are your challenges? Okay, itu number 2. Number 3, the most important is, sad to say, we really do not have the best coaches in Malaysia. Good coaches make good players. This is not a secret. This is a fact. So kita kena buat satu analysis ke penilaian ke, do we have the best coaches at the right place, including grassroots, academies, clubs, ada ke, or they are just having certificate? Very controversial, but it's a fact. This is what my director of technical director Andy Rosberg always says. Coaches are key to developing the players. So kita kena tanya, do we have the best coaches to help achieve the vision of an association like FAM?
So Andy Rosberg punya recommendation apa, Datuk Seri? Maknanya FAM will run the NFDP and AMD.
He was the leading the and based on apa kata the best practices lah. Okay, best practices, people who have achieved success. Okay, not only Europe, Asia also. Couple of things. Okay, we got sidetracked. Number 1 is the fact that FAM in this case has to take control of the development of football in Asia. Number 1. Number 2, not enough competitions at the age group. This was a big glaring findings. When you don't have competition, players tak boleh main, so mana dia nak practice dia punya trade? Bukan di training field, dia have to practice the trade kan. Okay, I learned something, now I have to show it on the pitch. And you have to show it on competition punya environment, not on a friendly match environment. So players do not have, and this is lacking, because if you go to Saudi, for example, if you go to Thailand, every age group dia ada competition. Now, doesn't have to be home and away, doesn't have to be throughout the year, maybe 3 times a year, but they do have competitions. Now, competition not only gives opportunity for the players to develop, but also gives the coaches to assess the players and give the scouts to keep an eye on any player that is special. So very important that this competition, we do not have these competitions. Okay, and that is a big glaring findings. And number 3, which is the most painful one lah. Andy said, okay, Andy and his experts said that Malaysia's NFDP program is one of the most expensive grassroots development program and not elite program.
Grassroots development, bukan elite.
Bukan elite. The way they did it was basically a very extensive grassroots development program.
Expensive tu mahal ke atau expand dari segi
Mahal dari segi expensive and extensive all over Malaysia, but not elite. It was a grassroots development program. So that was a big big nail
Debate.
lah.
Man.
Bang
In the
lah.
coffin lah.
I don't want to say lah. But I didn't want, because still alive, you see. So I cannot say coffin. So I said the big nail, tick, you know. And that was a bit sad because it was a couple of years.
Yeah.
A lot of money that has been spent.
Yeah.
And Andy asked a very pertinent question in the beginning of the assessment. He said, can you please give me the data of how many players that have gone through NFDP and AMD are now today representing Malaysia?
Data tu ada tak?
Tak ada orang nama ada data apa. Tell me, how many?
Lokman ada? Lokman Syamsuddin?
Okay. So you
Kalau
spend all...
Arif Aiman pun
Arif
sebagai
Aiman
daripada
was
dia
dropped
bawah
from AMD, but he went into JDT's training.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the national training punya structure. Where are the players now? They should be the under 17s. They should be the under 20.
Yeah.
They should be the national team. Where are they? So somewhere along the line, it didn't click into the pyramid lah.
Ni macam Datuk Santok cakap lah.
Look,
I am not sure what he said.
No.
But this is the findings lah.
I am sitting down here quietly smiling to myself like a kid.
Because you wrote it before.
Like a kid who's just received a Christmas present. Simply because yang pertama, saya kena utarakan perkara-perkara ni. Yang pertama, apabila Datuk Seri Windsor menyatakan bahawa FAM sepatutnya badan induk lah bertanggungjawab,
Run the show.
Fully responsible.
Benda ni saya masih ingat lagi perbualan saya dengan masa tu perjumpaan dengan Menteri Belia dan Sukan di one and only editors meeting dengan beliau. Saya menyatakan soalan tu diajukan dan saya telah menyatakan bahawa kenapa kerajaan sibuk nak jaga NFDP. Ianya bukan apa orang kata, it's not the business of the government.
But to be fair to her,
Tapi,
dia inherit benda ni daripada the
tak kira lah, you can inherit but you have got to have your own mindset lah.
No, but now she stopped it, you see.
Yeah,
no, that's right.
She needed a independent assessment to take it forward, hand it over.
So we have to
Okay.
give YB Hana the credit because dia bagi dekat AFC untuk dapatkan
Independent
analisis,
lah.
betul?
Yes.
Okay, thank God for that lah. But anyway, what I wanted to say was that
Yes.
this was raised then to say that FAM should be responsible. That's number one. Number two, the fact that we don't have enough matches at grassroots. It's been written multiple times for donkey years.
Tapi
we
Haris,
don't have.
kita menulis yang buat tu orang lain. Jadi orang lain yang nak kena buat tu.
Betul lah. Betul. There
orang
must
lain
be a
tu nak
will
buat
lah.
tu.
To
Maknanya
put down on paper.
yes.
No, we must do this. There must be a will.
What I'm saying is that benda ni seperti Datuk Seri sendiri menyatakan tadi, ini ni bukan rocket science. We all know this.
Tapi dia orang tak buat selama ni.
Why?
Dah belas tahun kan?
Lepas tu dia akan minta.
Kalau NFDP ni 2011 sebenarnya, tapi kemudian dijenamakan semula expanded by YB Khairi Jamaluddin pada 2014. Jadi sekarang ni dah after dah more than 10 years. Patutnya dah kena sekarang ni, sebab itu perkabaran terbaru FAM akan ambil alih, staff beberapa staff dah ada dekat FAM dah pun.
I think so. I think there was some effort already.
Ada effort dah.
Effort dah. But what kita AFC bentangkan kepada menteri dan juga FAM adalah bukan unik kepada FAM. This is the standard model of doing football development.
Okay, Datuk Seri, this is a question I need to ask you. Kita ni dah apa orang kata, we've gone through this over and over again with expensive affair. Berjuta-juta telah dibelanjakan. So what? And results are not going to happen. Rome was not built in a day. We're not going to see results overnight.
True.
So does this mean that we're going to spend another 10-15 years to finally see the results? while appreciating the fact that certain people go like, please support us. We need all the support we want.
I think when it is given back to FAM, then at least everyone can ask the questions to FAM. What is your plan now? Now that you have got the program back, or what do you call that? The whole project back. Now you got the funding or whatever that you receive. What are you going to do now?
Okay,
we want to see.
Datuk Seri, you mentioned about vision tadi. Datuk Seri menyatakan vision kan? FAM has got this F30.
Yes.
Isn't that the vision?
No, it's a vision. But you are trying to ask, are you moving towards the vision?
So are they moving towards that vision?
Only they can answer because they will have all the. You have to ask FAM. Ask, are you moving towards the vision?
Sekarang ni Datuk Seri, apa solusi pada masalah bola sepak kita ni? Gaji tertunggak. Kemudian YBKJ pun kata liga kita ni nak hujung-hujung dah ni. Banyak juga bekas pemain yang mengatakan kualiti liga kita tidak lagi melahirkan pemain-pemain yang ada kualiti yang boleh mewakili negara. Apa solusi untuk sini sekarang? Pasal Datuk Seri pernah menjadi pegawai dalam FM, sekarang ni pentadbir peringkat paling tinggi di AFC. Boleh tak bagi nasihat dan apa cara yang terbaik untuk menyelesaikan masalah kita once and for all?
I mean, kalau kita lihat kepada apa yang sedang berlaku lah, kita pun baca paper juga. You know, we are getting news from the media and seeing what is happening kan. Jadi kalau kita lihat masalah yang paling berat sekali adalah masalah pembayaran gaji. So kalau kita ambil in any company, pembayaran gaji ini sepatutnya, you know, kalau company itu nak exist mesti berada dalam satu budget and you operate within the budget. And salary of staff itu adalah asset. So asset di sini adalah pemain. Okay, asset di sini adalah pemain. So bagaimana kita jaga pemain tu adalah tertakluk kepada how we take care of their salaries and their benefits and so on. Itu penting. Kita lupa, kadang-kadang kita lupa pemain ini adalah pekerja and their profession tu main bola. They are not playing only for entertainment, entertaining the fan, tapi this is their livelihood kan. So kalau kita lihat kepada apa yang berlaku di Malaysia, okay, kita boleh simpulkan bahawa number one, we have to question the pengurusan, okay, the management. Okay, we have to question. Cara mengurus sesebuah pasukan sama seperti kita mengurus satu company lah. I mean, you change the manager lah. I mean, the GM is no good, the CEO is no good. Bottom line what? I mean, you cannot, you know, pay even the salary. So pengurusan, number one, management. And then number two, administration. How do you administer all these functions of the club? Okay, yang kedua. Yang ketiga, which I feel is the most important question that normally people want to avoid, is, are the best people in the right place in the structure of the clubs? Okay, this is the biggest question. Kalau kita lihat dulu di bawah persatuan, it's a different thing. Banyak volunteer, banyak volunteerism is there in the association, which is fine. But now when you talk about club, this is a company, and bila company tu mesti ada the best people, the best professionals running the business. So the question we need to ask, have the best people been put in place to get the clubs to run the clubs? That's first question, number one. Number two, we also need to ask, bila gaji pemain ni tidak dibayar, adakah sama seperti gaji CEO, pegawai-pegawai lain tidak dibayar? Has anybody asked the questions? All the others are getting the salary except the players.
Pemain tak dapat.
Pemain tak dapat. Kita tak tahu. So somebody needs to ask this question, because the club is still existing. Maknanya somebody is coming to work every day. Staff is coming to work. They will not come to work bila kalau dia tak dapat gaji. So are the staffs getting the salary, the non-playing staff lah, I mean, but the players are not getting the salary. So if we look at the whole thing, kita pun terkejut juga sebab bajet besar di klub di Malaysia besar. Kalau kita ambil bajet di contoh di Indonesia for example, it's about average kita ambil klub di Indonesia is about $3 million US. Okay. In Thailand $6 million US.
Setahun lah tu.
Setahun. Average club lah. And Vietnam very similar to Thailand, to Indonesia. Okay. 3 million. All of them are in deficits. Kalau kita, according to the statement that they have submitted to AFC, all of them in deficit. But we have never heard any case from Indonesia, Thailand and Vietnam about salary not paid. This we have not heard. Lain kita ada lah. Dia punya budget memang 1 million deficit, but other things. But never on the part of the salary. Okay. Yes, they have terminated players in Indonesia. Ada all this. But that's not because non-playing of the salary. They want to change player. So they bayar tu and then it goes. Sometimes it goes to court case and all that. But has got nothing to do with salary tak bayar. That means mereka menguruskan kewangan mereka mengikut bajet yang telah ditetapkan. So somewhere along the line it's not working in Malaysia. This part of pengurusan wang and the asset is not being put together in the right place.
Datuk Seri, kalau kita biasa orang debate lah salary cap, tapi salary cap players tak setuju kerana patut leave it to the free market. Tapi macam mana kita nak selesaikan kalau gaji pemain tu terlalu tinggi, bajet burst lah. Macam mana nak manage benda ni?
Siapa yang you have to pay according to the
dia
budget
mesti ada wage structure lah, macam kelab-kelab dekat IPL.
You nak buat code, tapi you bagi kain sikit, definitely cannot make you the code lah. You kena bagi kain yang cukup untuk dia buat baju untuk you.
Boleh tak salary cap?
Practical
ke tak practical?
Salary cap boleh buat, tetapi salary cap ni akan menghalang pasukan yang ingin yang mempunyai visi yang lain daripada yang lain.
Katakan JDT tak perlu ada salary cap.
Contohnya
tapi,
lah.
Maknanya kena applicable to everyone. Tak boleh.
I mean, no, bukan tak boleh. Memang banyak negara ada salary cap. Tapi will they agree to the salary cap? Itu yang the stakeholders must agree. Of course, it's a good way to have a structure, a salary structure. Government service pun ada salary structure. It's not free for all. To say free for all pun salah
MLS
juga.
pun ada. Maknanya maybe players macam marquee signing macam Messi boleh ni. Tapi player-player lain dia ada salary
boleh buat. But stakeholders kena agree lah. So we boleh buat satu rule mengatakan pasukan yang berjaya mewakili Malaysia ke peringkat Asia contohnya tidak perlu mempunyai salary cap kerana mereka they have to fight with the best in Asia. You cannot put salary cap kan. So the reason why we opened up the foreign players, people always ask, why did you open up the foreign players? I say we opened up the foreign players because our teams are challenging the teams in the world in the Club World Cup, and they are going with 3 foreign players, and the rest are having all foreign players in the team, and every time we go we are always handicapped. So if we want to challenge the best in the world, contohnya now we have 4 clubs going to Club World Cup. Imagine we have a rule that only restricts them to 3 foreign players. Imagine before going itself tempang dia orang. So we have to open up, but that doesn't mean you have to sign foreign players. Kalau you mampu 3, you sign 3 lah. For example, I give you a classic example. Final Champions League Elite di Jeddah baru ni.
Al-Ahli menang. Started
with 8 foreign players. 7 foreign players. Yokohama started with 1 foreign player. Macam mana? Because they are confident with their own Japanese players. You see, nobody is asking you to put 7-8 players. But if the team wants to put 7-8 players, it's up to them. They have the money, they can put 7-8 players. Kalau you tak ada duit, you tak payahlah sign banyak foreign player. I'm sure you all remember PJ City. Berapa? They worked with a small budget and still they could pay salaries and survived in the.
Satu contoh
they
yang
were
baik.
Not last.
Tapi akhirnya tutup kedai juga.
Simply because you need to know that they are not, they don't have a orang kata apa the fan base. Tak ada. You cannot survive
untuk beli
without
tiket,
a fan base.
tengok match, support.
Beli tiket, match, merchandising tak ada. But all the other clubs that are offshoot of the state, they have no excuse to say no fan base. KL pun dah ada fan base sekarang ni. Kalau Kedah contohnya, I come from Kedah. Kedah is crazy about football. You cannot say there is no fan base. So you got to ask ourselves, adakah pengurusan masa kini tidak profesional ke tahap yang kita perlukan untuk manage the budget yang dia dapat. Kalau kita lihat budget yang setiap negeri dapat, besar budget, 15 juta, 50 juta, 30 juta.
Tapi Datuk Seri, apakah sebenarnya ekosistem bola sepak kita bersedia untuk fully professional? Disebab Datuk Wira Yusof Mahdi kata penswastaan FM ni gagal. Tapi syaratnya adalah itu adalah syarat AFC, maknanya mesti transform from FA kepada FC. Untuk pasal Malaysia adalah negara yang last di Asia, betul? Untuk orang kata apa dipanggil tu tukar status daripada FA kepada FC fully professional. Apakah kita bersedia? Kerana kalau dulu dari 90-an lagi FM dah cakap dah sebenarnya Malaysia ni state base. Sebab itu kerajaan negeri di bawah kerajaan naungan kerajaan negeri kerajaan akan sentiasa bail out the clubs, the teams, state teams lah. Sekarang ni dah jadi club. Ni sekarang ada kemungkinan besar kelab-kelab pun dah tutup nanti. Macam mana ni Datuk Seri?
Satu negeri ada satu kelab saja. So kenapa model yang sama tidak boleh digunakan untuk bantu kelab itu? So kelab itu di bawah nama negeri, bukan a private name club. Kalau private name club, okay lah, you tak ada, there is no emotional connection.
Dalam FM punya FA to FC punya professionalization punya task force tu Datuk Seri, dia ada beberapa model, iaitu mungkin ada separate entity all together daripada dari negeri. Maknanya dia independent. Ada yang state FA masih ada lagi stake. Ada stake. Tapi
kenapa tak buat ke state ada stake dalam tu?
Sekarang ni apa sebenarnya?
Model tu kita tinggalkan kepada state masing-masing. We cannot enforce kan the whole of 47 countries di Asia. You find your own model. But what is the model that works for you? Okay, bila kita kata dia menjadi satu entity yang professional, kerana apa tahu? Kerana jika Malaysia menjadi juara di Asia, you cannot go to the World Cup as a state.
Understood.
You have to go as a club.
As a club.
Sebab itu, club licensing is put in place. You must form yourself as a company. You know. So sebab itu. So and this is very strict kerana kita kena ikut direction daripada FIFA. Sebab untuk FIFA, semua club yang bermain di peringkat dunia, Piala Dunia Club, mesti adalah sebuah club yang mempunyai entiti sendiri. They cannot be an association. That is one of the reason people fail to understand. Okay, so why one club in one state that has the name of the state cannot be supported as the same way? Itu pun menjadi tanda tanya juga kepada ramai.
But Datuk Seri, that defeats the purpose, right?
No, I'm talking about the first few years. First few years of support could have been done, put the right people and all that. After that, you have to be sustainable. You see, we always say 75% of a club's revenue must come from football channels. You know, whether it's broadcasting, sponsorship, merchandising, tickets, apa sajalah, football related activities. Only, you know, the balance can come from grants, donations, you know, all those things. But the problem here is 75% is now
government grant
coming from the wrong side, you know, government grants. So that exactly what you say, it defeats the purpose. 75% must come from football. So do you have good marketing people? Do you have all the right people to put the club together?
Kita ni ready, kita ready Datuk Seri. Beberapa club je yang ready.
Kalau
akan
tak
jadi
ready pun
lah.
Bila nak ready? Forever you'll never be ready. You know, kalau dulu penswastaan yang berlaku semasa negara, you know, swasta, telekom swasta, TNB swasta. If we will always, tak boleh lah, you know, this all kerajaan punya asset, you know, these are all public amenities, you shouldn't privatize it. Sampai hari ni, it will not be privatized. You cannot say that lah. Maybe they put the right people at that time. You know, we had top people in TNB, you remember? Tan Sri Hani Arup and all these people who had vision and all. You cannot say. So, as I go back, people are most important. Who is running the business? Who is running the business?
So who is running the business?
Correct. Who is running the business? That's the question. Siapa yang handling the business? The right, qualified, knowledgeable, the best people must be able to run the football.
Apa nasihat Datuk Seri pada FAM khususnya dan juga MFL lah?
Very simple. Ambil model JDT and lower it down as a start. Simple.
Okay, katakan weight structure tu tinggi pun kita maknanya
I'm talking about the best practices of JDT, and you take from whichever level, you ambil dia punya best practices and then you start from where you can follow lah. But the best practices will still remain the best practices. They have top class marketing people, they have very good social media people, have good merchandising plan, you know, the stadium, own stadium. You tell me how many states, how many clubs ada Padang? Dia say Padang pun tak ada. And we are talking about other things.
AFC ada ke Padang Academy sendiri?
Tak tahu
tak
lah.
ada kan?
Tak tahu. I'm not so sure.
Actually, apa yang Datuk Seri ingin
tapi
menyatakan,
tim lain
template tu dah ada.
Template dah ada.
Tapi template tu kena datang dan JDT ada TMJ.
Itu leadership lah. No, that's why lah. Template, not only the template, but also talks about the leadership template is there. The passion, the leadership, the decision maker, menang kalah, there is a decision made. Tough decisions are taken by good leaders. Template dah ada. So you get the right people, and then you find how are they organising the football in terms of facilities, in terms of hiring of the staff, in terms of budget. They have everything in place. So you take the template and then you tell the others, ikut sajalah template yang JDT buat. That means the right leadership, the right personnel, the right coaches, the right facilities, the way they handle the whole thing. Okay, kalau JDT players are paid A, you tak payah pay A. You
Half
actually pay properly.
Pay
properly. Because they pay properly. So that template is what? Bayar consistently.
But, tapi sekarang ni maknanya nanti eventually lama-lama barulah ada kelab lain yang boleh menyaingi JDT. Kalau tidak, JDT akan kekal dominan, which is that good or bad for the league?
No, you cannot blame JDT for being successful. You cannot, because their vision is different. Macam Japan's vision is to win the World Cup in 2050. Contoh.
Betul.
They don't care. They send all their players overseas, and you cannot blame Japan for doing that because they have a very clear vision. Now for the other clubs, you have to learn from JDT. What are the best things that we can learn from them? You have to be a little bit, teachable. You must be teachable, and also you must jangan it's good to learn, and pick the best practices yang ada di JDT, and then see where you can start from. You cannot start from what JDT is doing now, but you can at least start the best things, the fundamental things first. You go there, they have a proper training center. They have all kinds of coaches, different level. I mean, in some of our other clubs, Padang pun tak ada. And then we want to talk about professional. So when you talk about professional football has failed, first you need to define what is professional football.
Betul.
For us, professional football was only the players getting full-time salary to play football. Bukan, it's just one small tiny part.
Yeah.
So perswastaan untuk saya tak gagal. Kalau perswastaan di Malaysia gagal, that means semua perswastaan di semua agensi pun akan gagal. But it happen in government agencies. From government mentality, dia boleh bawa kepada swasta punya mentality. Macam mana? How? They had the right people doing it. They had the budget. They had, really tough decision. Leadership. Very important.
Modal insan lah.
Exactly. So, these are things that needs to be fixed. Somebody needs to take the hard decision. Somebody needs to take the bull by the horn and say, look, these are the weaknesses now. We need to fix this. Okay. Even I've told before to FAM, even if you play with less teams, play with the best teams. Let the others join later. Don't for the sake of inclusivity. 20 team, 19 team. No.
Maknanya kalau Kedah tutup kedai pun okey lah, Datuk Seri.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying take 2 steps behind. It's okay. But fix
forward.
Fix something now.
Yeah.
Make the hard decisions now. Of course for me, it's sad. Like big teams, who have legacy like Pahang, Kedah, Perak, struggling to play in the competition. I mean, this is sad for Malaysian football. But if those hard decisions need to be made, then somewhere it has to stop and has to stop. And Malaysia already has a template. Kalau there's no team in Malaysia who's doing well, then I can understand, we're all in the same boat. But there's already one team which is very successful. Pergi belajar lah. Just see what can be done. Start small, but start right. Do the small things professionally first.
Datuk Seri, cerita sikit latar belakang Datuk Seri ni. Kenapa bola?
Kenapa bola? Because my whole family bola lah. My father was a referee. My cousins played for national team, state team. My uncles were coaches in Kedah.
Your cousin siapa?
Paul Moni was a coach in Kedah. Paul Peter. Paul Peter David, coach Kedah, and also national coach, youth team. My cousins played for Kedah, at least 5-6
Mendiang
cousins.
Datuk Seri Paul Moni tu your cousin or your uncle?
My father's sister's son.
Cousin lah.
Oh, okay. Berasal dari Kuala Ketil semua?
Kuala Ketil lah.
Kuala Ketil, okay.
Yeah.
Lepas tu,
So
Datuk Seri main.
We come from the estates. All estates got beautiful football pitches.
Ya, betul.
So every
well maintained.
every weekend, estate by estate we will go and play 7-a-side. So this weekend this estate will organize, so kita pergi main. That week, next weekend that estate. So every weekend filled by 7-a-side matches.
Estate mana dekat Kuala Ketil?
Kuala Ketil, Batu Pekaka Estate, which is in Kuala Ketil punya district lah. So we all were from there.
Okay.
And then we came out to Sungai Petani. Okay, my father got transferred. My father was a headmaster, got transferred to Sungai Petani. But I was always in Kedah. So my uncle, Paul, also another cousin, Paul Peter, another my father's sisters was also coach of Kedah for many years. Radi Makdin and all that were under Paul Peter. And I play for Kedah Youth. The reason I didn't play further because my cousin was the coach.
Which cousin was itu?
Paul Peter. So my father said, no, this is a bad
conflict of
thing.
interest.
Yes. So my whole family was always stuck with conflict of interest. Even when I wanted to join FAM, it was Datuk Syed Kuning who signed my contract because Datuk Paul refused to sign.
This is something politicians should learn from.
Yeah. So my cousin at that time was GS said, I'm sorry, I cannot sign your appointment. You want to work, Datuk Syed has to sign. So Datuk Syed was interested.
Youth.
Arwah Datuk Syed was youth director. And I was a teacher and I was a coach in Selangor. So he said, look, you come and join administration.
Yeah.
And I went to ask Datuk Paul's advice. He said, look, I'm sorry, I cannot hire you. I said, but Datuk Syed wants me to join. Look, if Datuk Syed wants you to join, then you ask him to appoint you at FAM. Okay? But he said one thing to me. At that time, I was actively coaching Selangor. And I was also coaching the President Cup in 1993. I was coaching the Malaysian Indians, coaching the Selangor Barden Cup. So active in coaching. So no idea at that young age to join administration. But Datuk Paul gave me a very good advice, which I have not told many people. He said, look, I know you're doing very well in coaching, you're excited, you're winning some match, but you'll never be a Malaysian coach because you have never played for Malaysia. So you as a teacher, you got technical background. At the time I also was a referee. I had refereeing background. Maybe you might do well in administration, so think about it. Datuk Paul is one thing, he never makes decision for you. He always says, think about it and make a decision. But these are the facts in front of you. So that's how I moved to administration. Okay? And Datuk Syed said, no, you come because we need a youth development officer at that time. They wanted to start the academies. I'm not sure if you remember. So I need someone to coordinate this academy. At that time, Tan Sri...
Elias Omar.
No. Basri.
Datuk Seri
Ahmad Basri was the chairman of the youth
academy.
So he was pushing Datuk Syed to start this academy, So he got me in on secondment. I didn't resign from government. I was a teacher. Got in secondment and started this whole project of academy under the youth committee, but managed by this Arwah Datuk Syed Ahmad Kuning as a head of the youth department. So that's how my transition from coaching to administration. And then I was involved in ASEAN because AFC was the headquarters of ASEAN. Datuk Amar Ritaudin was president. Datuk Paul was Datuk Seri Paul was the SecGen. So because I was involved in competitions and all that, so he said no, help organize competitions as well. And then when he left to FIFA office, so he had one position vacant. So he asked me to apply. I think a couple of people applied. They asked me to apply. Look, because at that time I was quite well versed in technology, and I was involved in competition development and so on. So FIFA wanted a development assistant. So then I fitted the bill. So I left FAM and in 2000 and joined him in FIFA development office. Was in charge of 24 countries at that time. And then when he left to AFC, then FIFA asked me to take over in 2009. And then he went to AFC, and then then I stayed with FIFA. And then 2009 I left FIFA full time in this development job. I was consultant for them. I was hired to prepare LOCs for the World Cups. All World Cups, under 17, under 20, women, Olympics. So I was put in charge to prepare the LOC. That means do inspection, visit, check stadiums, fields, and so on. So I did that for 2 years, and then of course the whole turmoil happened in AFC. In hindsight, I was kept clean because I was not in Asia. I was doing work for FIFA.
Yeah.
So 2011 when Geelong became president, he said, look, you're Asian, why don't you come and work in AFC? Look, I said, I have a consultancy job. I don't mind helping you part-time. So 2011, I helped them part-time do some preparation, competition work, development. But 2012, he said, no, please join full-time because I want to really, leave something before I leave AFC. So I joined full-time as executive director of competitions in 2012. And then 2013, they had elections. So Sheikh Salman became the president and Dato' Alex was the GS. And 2013, I was made the deputy general secretary. And 2015, I became the general secretary. So that's a quick... Dah 10 exactly. And when I saw your email, then I realized it's already 10 years this year. So was a lot of stuff that have happened in AFC since the last 10 years. We had a proper vision. We changed our logo now. We introduced new competitions. We have new coaching plan, coaching convention. Those days AFC used to organize coaching. Now we all those
empower
all those selected can organize their own coaches. These are all changes that we brought to it, and then of course stabilize the whole confederation. Means stabilizing the federations, because only when the associations are stable, then the confederation can be stable. So in a nutshell, this is the journey.
Datuk Seri, kenangan manis pasal berapa World Cup yang you involved in?
From 1998. That means France 98 was my first senior World Cup.
Okay.
Kalau senior World Cup, France, and then Korea, 2002, 2006 Germany,
Berlin,
2010 in Africa, 2014 in Brazil. And then I became GS. So I couldn't do the job anymore lah.
Oh, so Russia you tak pergi?
I couldn't because I just took over under the circumstances. So I withdrew.
So paling tinggi sebagai general coordinator atau venue macam mana?
General coordinator lah. At that time I really in charge of the whole venue lah, to put up the matches and the whole thing lah, security safety matches.
Betul ke Datuk Seri tak bagi Maradona masuk bilik persalinan
2006 yes, that was a tough decision. Because in football, kick-off time is very important. Because satellite, the whole world is waiting for. So you whatever it is, you are judged by the kick-off time. You have to be on the dot. So and I was quite famous for being on the dot, thanks to the coaching by Paul. So on the dot kick-off is very important. So Maradona, through his manager, came to see me and my assistant to say, look, I want to visit the team before the warm-up. So we said, fine, before warm-up is not a problem because that's normally team time. After they arrive, you can talk to the team and so on. So we checked with the manager at that time, the coach at that time. He said, okay.
Peckerman, was it
Peckerman? Jose Peckerman. So he said, no problem, because it's Maradona is the team. But I told them, look, but when we start for warm-up, you must leave the dressing room. So we had this agreement. So Maradona did not come during that time which was agreed.
Okay.
15 minutes before the warm-up time, he didn't come. So I said, fine. Then he came just like 1 minute before the warm-up time. I said, no, you cannot see the team. You have to warm up. You can see them after they warm up, because you still have about 15 minutes to warm up. He refused. He said, no, I want this. I said, no, we have to send the team out for warm up, because the team ready to go to warm up. And then they went out, and then he was unhappy. He went and complained upstairs, to FIFA and all that. And then I kicked off the match, and then later I heard that he left the stadium, went back to his hotel, and made a big issue with FIFA. But FIFA said I made the right decision.
The call.
I made the right decision, not to say not allowing. I made the right decision to follow the timing.
The timing.
That is my job anyway, so that the match could be kicked off on time. So that was a sad thing for him. But I met him after that in the Olympics in China. He was in my room sitting, and of course he didn't remember I was the one. I didn't
So
remember.
how was that conversation like?
No. He actually came to visit the team
Okay.
in the
2 years
semi-final.
later tu.
You remember semi-final Argentina Brazil?
Yeah.
Olympics in. So I was doing that match.
Okay.
So he came after the match.
Okay.
Came to congratulate his players, and I said no problem. After the match, they brought him down, and before the team was coming back to the dressing room, he was sitting with me in my room, and he doesn't speak much English anyway. He's always with the translator. No, he's very happy that his team won, and because that team, strong team, Dorandino and all that played for Brazil. But still they won, and then later they became champions. Messi was there. But he's a simple guy, not that what people make up to be. He's a football guy really.
Yeah.
Everything else is just put to him, It's just a football guy. But at that time he was already having bad knee.
Knee lah.
I think worst was in Brazil, where he had really struggling to walk when he was the coach.
Zidane headbutt Materazzi.
Zidane headbutt. Since you all call me for the first time, let me tell you all for the first time, which I've never told anywhere before,
Okay.
about the Zidane headbutt. Zidane headbutt, basically the referee did not notice. Okay, now it has become, what they say, immaterial. It's nobody knows. I had the TV in front, because those days we had TV, okay, for the media officer. Okay. Headbutt was missed, but I saw the headbutt on the TV.
Okay.
So I told the assistant referee, he said, Zidane headbutted. So he alerted the referee.
Buffon kata dia yang alert.
No.
Gianluigi Buffon.
The fourth official is Massimo Busacca. If
Oh,
you see him the next time, you ask him. So this secret stayed with us for a very long time.
Busacca was here a few times.
He always is here for referees. When there is a referees event, he will be here, definitely.
Okay.
So I alerted the fourth official,
Busacca.
Massimo, Zidane headbutted. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. So then he
So the
alerted.
real person is actually you.
I was the VAR at that time.
Penghancur
No.
impian Perancis.
I was the VAR at that time.
You were the
Unofficial-
VAR.
I was
VAR
the
tak ada
VAR.
lagi.
I was the VAR at that time.
You heard it first on July.
Yes. Heard it first on this time.
The
Yes.
culprit.
yes.
Satu Perancis tahulah sekarang.
Because the Massimo was asking, what happened? He's like asking me, media officer looking at the match, and everybody was looking at the ball.
But you were
I was looking at the TV.
the TV.
So I told Busacca, I said, no, it headbutted. I said, okay. Then of
kita
course.
boleh tag Zidane lepas ni. Kita
So there was
Thank you for the revelation.
yeah, first in your podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's your first podcast, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for this.
No, thank you for having me. It was
But
fun.
I have one question before we let you go. You're living the dream job, lah. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
any regrets?
The one that is keeping you waking up every morning and making excited to go to office, number one is the passion. Okay, as you know, the passion came even from small. When you hear your family only talking about football. My family was football and teachers. They all were teachers, football. So it's all about teaching and about football. So it's already in your DNA
your
and all
blood.
that. So it's difficult to let go that, And still at this age, you're passionate to make those decisions, get up, go to office, as much as possible, help people in football. It's number one. And I believe passion ultimately is your calling in life. Passion. So if you want to know your calling in life, you look at what is your passion.
follow your passion.
Passion is what it's calling in life. So I believe my calling in life is football, using football to touch the lives of
Others.
people, make other lives better, improve something, and leave behind a legacy that is related to my passion and my calling.
Great.
Thank you.
So no regrets.
Okay, Datuk Seri. Oh, no regrets. Bagus tu. Datuk Seri, nak tanya. 30 tahun yang lalu, kita berdua pergi ke Paris Saint-Germain, ingat? You beli jam.
Yeah. I beli jam.
Kita pergi ke PSG masa tu. Nak tanya.
Jam apa pula?
Dia orang sekarang ni masuk final UCL Champions League, akan lawan dengan Inter Milan. Your prediction macam mana?
My prediction, I've seen both teams play. Okay, the later stages lah. Dulu kita pun tak ingat dia orang nak masuk final. But the later stages I've watched them play. I think my personal feeling is inclined a little bit more to PSG. Because I think they have good finishes to kill the game. Yeah, they have good finishes to fill the game, and they are top of their game now. You know, you see them every game. They are just, and you can see them enjoying the game, and you know, getting it together. And I think the coach has done a fantastic job putting so-called just normal players, you know, into a really good squad. But don't underestimate the tactical defense of any Italian team.
Yeah.
And more so
Very disciplined doang.
very disciplined, very tactically astute teams like you know, all these Italian team. So it'll be a very good match between a free-flowing attacking team like PSG and a very tactical astute defense disciplined team like Inter Milan. But for me, may the game of football win on that day.
Wow, that's a
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Datuk Seri, terima kasih banyak-banyak
Terima
kerana
kasih lah
sudi
for
menjadi
having me.
tetamu kami dengan beberapa insights yang menarik. Semoga boleh menjadi pengajaran kepada pembuat dasar dan juga sebenarnya education juga kepada peminat-peminat bola sepak secara umumnya. Terima kasih sekali lagi Datuk Seri.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Terima kasih.
Alright.
Sertai perbualan dalam komen section di bawah dan mari teruskan perbincangan. Terima kasih kerana menyertai kami dalam perjalanan ini ke dunia sukan Malaysia. Julang adalah pilihan anda untuk berita dan perbincangan sukan dan hiburan. Di sini, anda akan menemui berita terkini, analisis mendalam, pandangan pakar dan cerita yang penting kepada rakyat Malaysia. Jika anda suka video ini, tekan butang like, subscribe untuk konten yang eksklusif dan aktifkan notifications supaya anda tidak terlepas video kami yang seterusnya. Kita jumpa di sana.